Okay, day 3 of my termite treatment at 516 North Wall Street. It's November 6th on Friday. I wasn't able to make it by to finish yesterday, so I finally got everything done today and cleaned up. There's a couple of things I came across today that I really wanted to make note of, and then go over application rates, which a couple of things I forgot to go over in the last couple of videos. So I am now in the southwest bedroom, in the room with the stairwell down into the basement. So we had this access cut, and I were very limited here on how much room we had. So I just had to broadcast spray what I could down here. So I did that. And this is the adjoining wall to the basement. And I was able to shoot pretty far back there. And actually, when I got under this floor joist, I could hear my spray going pretty far back to the other side of the room, over here to this corner. So I feel pretty good about that I was able to broadcast spray this pretty well. Now, when I did get some seepage from the crawl space into the basement stairwell, and then down in the basement we got some seepage down here, which is a good thing. That means that stuff's getting where it needs to go. So I'll get that cleaned up and disposed of. But yeah, that's actually a good sign that this stuff's getting to where it needs to be. And that was a lot of product put on the other side of that wall. So we're not getting too much out here. But yeah, that's good. So I'll go over that in a minute. The other thing I wanted to make note of was now heading over to the southeast bedroom where we had the other crawl space access cut. This one's got a little more room. Once I got my head stuck down in here. Now, originally I had said that this crawl space was divided from the other side, that we had a divider wall right here that I couldn't get to this side of the crawl space. Now, once I stuck my head in there and looked around, I see that, and I'll see if I can get the camera in here, that this side, there is a divider wall here that doesn't allow me to get that way, but there is actually access underneath this bathroom. And once I started spraying, so you can see this actually northeast side of the house is actually on concrete slab with a subfloor built on top of it, which I couldn't really notice before. And now I can really get in there and see really well that I don't have any termite activity on that wall that I was thought maybe they were coming up from the crawl space side. But no, they're definitely coming up from the outside perimeter from behind the stucco. So that made me feel a lot better. I did get down here and broadcast spray all this stuff. This side, now I don't see any termite activity coming up from the crawl space into the structure, but there's some wood to soil contact down here, those form boards. If my camera will focus. Maybe not. I get the gist of it. But there's some form boards down there, wood to soil contact, all that stuff got sprayed down. There was some termite tunnels on this floorboard here, and I got all that stuff sprayed off. Golly, my camera really does not want to focus. There we go. Okay. And you can see where the termites kind of grazed that wood right here, and I've sprayed all that off. I'm going to stick my business card down here, just in case anybody, you can see a little bit of activity on that bottom board there. So they will come back in this spot again sooner or later with that wood to soil contact there. So I'm going to stick my business card there so everybody knows that I treated it. So again, what we got now, this wall right here is where the concrete slab starts. So this is all crawl space over here, and I was able to treat this really, really well. So I feel really good about that. I was able to broadcast spray this whole side. I did miss some here because of that divider wall right there. But given that this is concrete slab and I didn't see any termite tunneling around the rest of the perimeter, I think this stuff, that tells me that this activity here is coming from this underneath this concrete slab, which again, we drilled out. There's my drill holes there. So a little discovery about that today that made me feel a lot better about this room. This termite damage here coming from the outside. I did see that wood paneling behind the stucco over here when I was trenching. So if that's the case around the whole perimeter of the house, if there's wood siding behind that stucco, that would explain why we're getting termite activity around here. And that's treated from the outside perimeter. So feel a lot better about treatment over here. Now the only other area that is kind of an unknown is underneath the bathroom that we foamed. This area here, which could very well be on concrete slab as well, but this is the only area where we have no treatment in this zone right here in the floorboards. This got treated from the outside. This got treated from this side of the wall. So I wanted to go over, which I forgot to mention last, so was application rates. Which is important for the Department of Agriculture when they do my inspection and check out this property. I'm trying to record it all on paper. It's just a little tough, so this is just to double check everything and cover all my bases to make sure that everybody knows how much I applied around the property. So the way the termiticide works, we have different application rates for different foundations. So on a concrete slab like this living room's on a concrete slab. I treated the outside perimeter. The way we need to apply, for every 10 linear feet of wall, I need to apply 4 gallons of termiticide. Now that's going to soak 1 foot down into the ground. And that's all we need for this concrete slab, is for that termiticide to cover this zone to keep termites from getting up into the wall. So we'll walk around and kind of go over the application rates. Now, when I double that, or triple or quadruple it, say I do 8 gallons per 10 linear feet, that's going to soak 2 feet down into the soil. If I quadruple it and do 16 gallons per 10 linear feet, it's going to go 4 feet down into the soil. In a case of a basement walls, the outside perimeter, where I need that stuff to go down about 4 feet to cover the outside perimeter of the basement. And then the crawl space that goes about 2 feet below grade, I need it to cover that crawl space wall. So I'm going to walk around and go over the application rates on what I did around the outside and inside of the house. So we're inside, I might as well start in the basement. So this area got foamed. I used about 2 gallons of Taurus foam in the bathroom. We're in the Southwest Edition again. This got broadcast sprayed. So this kind of got, probably about 10-15 gallons broadcast sprayed over here. Now this wall, this is an adjoining wall of the basement. So this grade goes down 4 feet. I treated this wall at 16 gallons per 10 linear feet. So that's a lot of chemical that went down into that area to cover that 4 foot depth there. Going down to the basement, this is just regular concrete slab. We just want to protect this zone to keep termites from coming up in the inside perimeter of this wall. So this all got treated at 4 gallons per 10 linear feet around the inside perimeter of the basement. Now, we do have the joint between the concrete slab and the crawl space. Now this wall here, I wasn't able to treat much, and I don't know exactly how far down that crawl space goes in this corner. So I did treat this at 8 gallons per 10 linear feet. So that would go down 2 feet into the soil to cover. Seems like this side is only about a foot, so I don't really need to treat at 2 gallons, I don't think. That goes down about a foot. So that's what I did around the outside perimeter of this crawl space, is I treated at 4 gallons per 10 linear foot. We'll go out the front here. Oh, living room. And dining room. Okay. So, sorry, there's a lot to go over here. So I did drill this out because we do have a fireplace on this wall. I'm pretty sure there's a joint there in between the two slabs where the fireplace is. I did drill the outside, I drilled the inside, and I treated both. This got treated at 4 gallons per 10 linear foot. Now this is the joint between the concrete slab and the crawl space. This, I wanted it to go down 2 feet to cover that crawl space wall, so I treated all this at 8 gallons per 10 linear feet all the way up to here. Same thing with this wall. I don't know what's on this side, so I treated this wall at 8 gallons per 10 linear feet. We have plumbing here for the kitchen. I think there's 3 holes underneath this carpet. I treated that at 4 gallons per 10 linear feet. Coming out to the front porch, we're back out to concrete slab right here, and this is where the crawl space starts on this wall here. So this area here, the concrete slab, got treated at 4 gallons per 10 linear feet, and that stops about right here in this zone. Once we started crawl space, I switched to 8 gallons per 10 linear feet to get that to soak 2 feet down into the soil. Around the corner, the soil grade does drop in front. I still treated this at 2 gallons per 10, or 4 gallons per 10. And then the grade does pop back up around the corner. So my grade changes here. This is where the living room stops, and we have that unknown crawl space under the bathroom. So that area got treated at 8 gallons per 10 linear feet, and then it switches over to the basement right about in here. And now the basement, outside perimeter of the basement, got treated at 16 gallons per 10 linear feet because we needed to soak that 4 feet down the basement wall. Same thing with around the window, 16 gallons per 10 around the basement. Now this crack right here is where the basement stops, and our 1 foot below grade crawl space starts in the southwest corner. So this is where my 16 gallons per 10 stopped, and I switched over to 4 gallons per 10 linear feet around the outside perimeter, pretty much the rest of the way around of this side of the house. And one thing I forgot to mention, I did mention the rain gutters yesterday up front. I forgot to mention these two in the back because there is wood siding back here. That rain gutter really should be brought out past the house, or at least out this way a little bit. I know it's nice to have water in the roses and everything, but these two, given that there is termite activity on the other side of the wall, should be extended out a bit more. So anyway, back to this is where our concrete slab ends. So from here was treating at 4 gallons per 10, switched to 8 gallons per 10 around the outside. Now we're back on our crawl space. Around the rest of the outside perimeter got treated at 8 gallons per 10 linear feet, and this is where our grade starts to drop down, slope down a little bit, and then back to the front. I think that is everything I needed to go over. The last thing, if a little bit of raking or stuff on the surface is okay. Now if you shovel out any of that dirt, remove it, or really dig in there, it's going to destroy that termite barrier, and then that's sprayed, retrenched, and resprayed. Not a big deal. Same thing in the front. If any of that soil gets removed or disturbed, we'll want to retreat that area. Not a big deal. Pretty cheap, pretty easy. So again, Brian with Larry's Pest Patrol. This has been my termite treatment on 516 North Wall Street. Questions, comments, concerns, you can get me at larryspestpatrol@gmail.com or 505-334-9477. Thanks.